Good morning to all of you, or maybe good afternoon for some of you. My name is Pascal Verhoie. I'm head of the sales and application development within SKF for the RecondOil service. I spent more than 25 years working for the energy and oil industry in various positions, various departments, amongst others in the lubricant industry. And since September of last year, I joined SKF to be part of the journey to make a revolutionary change in the world of lubrication. I will talk you through today through the strategic importance of RecondOil for SKF, the history of RecondOil, and the challenge that oil companies face today, and in particular what it means for industrial lubricants. At the end of this presentation, I will share with you how SKF will bring this disruptive solution to the market. By this, I hand over the word to Anders, who will give us a deeper insight on our technology.
My name is Anders Kronander. I'm leading a team of very smart engineers who are working to industrialize this technology. And we're taking it from lab scale to industrial scale as fast as possible. Today, about 1.5 years since SKF acquired RecondOil, we have already several remotely monitored full-scale systems that are up and running 24/7. All these systems are producing ultra-clean oils for our customers, and it fits very well with their sustainability targets. Today we are present in China, many countries in Europe, and we're also in Latin America. And the list is growing by the day. Our technology is out there and is doing the job. Today I will focus on explaining a little bit how the technology works, and hopefully you will be as certain as we are that RecondOil marks the beginning of a truly circular use of oil, which will have a profound impact on the industry. And we all aim for global impact, and there's no doubt that we will actually get there. With us, we have also Petter Hägg, who is thrilled about the benefits that this will bring to our own manufacturing capabilities and how it will also help us to reach our ambitious target of becoming carbon neutral until 2030 within SKF. With that, I'm handing over to you, Petter.
Thank you, Anders. Well, I've been in SKF. I have a long history in SKF and now working with clean manufacturing. And for me, this is a very important task as we see cleanliness requirements increase over and over. In this presentation, I will give you a glance of what we have seen in SKF during the startup of these systems and how we see it for the future. By that, I will leave the word to Pascal to start the presentation of RecondOil.
Thank you, Petter. Within SKF, we're taking sustainability very seriously, and we're actually doing the right things to make sustainability happen. We're focusing on reducing CO2 emissions of our own factories and our supply chain. Also, our products enables significant decrease of CO2 emissions by reducing frictions and also having a decrease of environmental impact of the machines. We realize that circular economy, by substantially reducing cost and environmental impact, will improve efficiency. With that, SKF has developed several services and products to reduce, reuse, and recycle the product, which enables full circular use of products. With RecondOil, SKF is emphasizing again on the importance of sustainability, and this through realizing full circular use of oil. Next slide, please. This slide will cover what the current industrial oil market gives. To give you an idea, the world lubricant consumption is around 40 million ton, whereof more of half are lubricants that are used in the automotive industry. 19 million ton of lubricants is used for industrial purposes in several industries and multiple types of lubricants. The oil industry as such is undergoing serious challenges. This due to the shift in our mobility pattern. We see transition to move away from classical combustion engine to electrical vehicles, cars powered by hydrogen and other power sources. This has an enormous impact on the current business model of oil companies. Despite the challenges, there will always be a need for lubrication and lubricants. The challenge today is to use these lubricants as an asset in a sustainable manner. The current model of lubrication, as you can see on this slide, is linear. It's take, make, waste. And what it means is when a lubricant is being produced, you need to explore crude oil. Crude oil needs to be refined. From the refinery, a base oil is being produced, and then combined with additives, a blend is made with the base oil to eventually come to a lubricant. Then the lubricant is being consumed into the application, and at the end of the lifetime, the oil is being disposed. This is a linear way of lubrication, and that has a significant impact on the environment. Next slide, please. If we dig a bit deeper on the industrial lubricant markets, there are many applications, as you can see on this slide. Several applications are covered through these products, and several industries such as steel, aerospace, food and beverage, mine, pulp and paper, and many others are having those different oils being applied. SKF RecondOil cover most of the lubricant types. Currently, we are focusing on the hydraulic oil and metalworking fluids, and also on gear oils. The other lubricant types we will cover in 2022. Next slide, please. With RecondOil, as already mentioned today, the lubrication is a linear process. With RecondOil, we want to make an important change to that. We are changing the linear model of lubrication into a true circular use of oil, using the natural resources over and over again, while keeping the performance requirements of the lubricants. So this is a very important game changer, where we are reusing a natural resource over and over again by extending the lifetime of the lubricant. Next slide, please. On the history of RecondOil, it all started with a particular issue of a customer in the mid of Sweden 8 years ago. That customer was experiencing a problem with microscopic particle contamination of the lubricating oil in their fine steel wire production line. Fine steel wire is a high precision product, and it's used in several applications, going from automotive components to medical equipment. To achieve satisfactory product quality, high level of oil cleanliness is required in the manufacturing process. But over time, when the oil is in use, the oil's lubricating quality are deteriorating due to microscopic particle contamination. The particles can also cause wear to machinery, and in some cases downgrade the quality of the final product. With our solution that has been invented 8 years ago, if you go to the next slide, we were able to extend the lifetime of the oil significantly. Before our solution came into place, every 12 weeks, the oil needed to be changed. With the integration of the solution, that's 8 years ago from now, we're still using the same oil over and over again. On top of the extension of the lifetime of the oil, we've also noticed a huge improvement on productivity. The productivity went up with 25%. And if we look into how many times the oil change has been avoided up till today, that's 30. So it all started with a problem at a customer in the mid of Sweden, and now Anders will take us into the technology and what it's standing for.
Thank you very much, Pascal. So that we can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So now you understand the market is huge, and now let's look into how we solve this problem. So our unique solution to this problem, which has been around since the dawn of manufacturing, lies in our patented double separation technology, or DST for short. We combine our chemistry know-how with specialized mechanical separation in a way that restores the oil to its original or even better quality. But before we dig into details, let's first just take a step back to really understand the problem at hand. As your oil degrades, it causes a lot of problems. And we can talk about the phenomena of oil degradation for many hours, but let's just agree that a poor performing oil will cause a poor performing machine, as you heard Pascal was talking about. And a poor performing machine is not acceptable. That's why the oil is replaced, and that's also why it puts such a big burden on our climate, an unnecessary burden, it seems. The oil itself is most likely degraded due to a process called oxidation. This chemical reaction is a chain reaction, which means that it will excel as soon as it started. And that's why we must stop it very early on. This chemical reaction is also catalyzed by these small particles that Pascal was talking about, microscopic particles, which cannot be removed by conventional means, as they're too small to trap. Please move to the next slide there. Thank you. Nano-sized particles may seem too small to be able to cause any harm, but that is not really the case. And as you now understand, if these particles are present, your oil will degrade. And anyone also acquainted in the field of chemical catalysis knows that the surface area plays an important role also for the reaction kinetics, and the combined surface area of billions and billions and billions of nano-sized particles will become a little bit too big to just ignore. But if the oil is instead super clean, it will not degrade, and it will not require replacement. And that is where we come into play. That's where we are now introducing the SKF DST technology, and that is the problem that we're now solving. And the regeneration process begins with the addition of our separation boosters to the oil. Through advanced process control and design, we then optimize the contact surface of the two liquids and provide an optimal environment for the booster to interact with the dirt and whatever contaminants we might have. When our non-toxic chemicals have vacuumed out the dirt from the oils, we can easily remove it all through a liquid-liquid separation step. Then we might fine polish the oil and leave behind an ultra clean quality. And this ultra clean oil will have virtually indefinite service life. It will offer improved performance, and it will also help our customers to become increasingly sustainable while at it. And that's why I really do believe that this technology is a game changer. Ultra clean oils open a new universe to sustainability and machine reliability. And that is why we at SKF are so eager now to implement this technology, not only to our own factories, but as well as yours. And I will now hand over to Petter Hägg, who will explain more in detail about the profound impact that we're already seeing with our first installations, what impact it has in our own operations. So I'm handing over to you, Petter.
Thank you, Anders. Well, as the manager for SKF Clean Manufacturing, it was always clear to me that clean oil and process fluids will have a huge impact on machinability, performance, and cleanliness of parts and equipment. Now this has come true. It's like a dream to me. It doesn't matter for how long you continue to swim in dirty water, you will never be clean. And it doesn't matter for how long you keep on polishing your car with a dirty cloth, it will never be shiny. This is what we are going to explore now in SKF with this new technology in our own plants. In SKF, we are focusing on two main applications for metalworking fluids at the moment. It is honing and it's quenching. The honing process is often the final process in the bearing production that actually sets the parameters that is so important for the for the bearing life. Bearing quality, and also for noise and vibration level, which is one of the toughest, most high required parameters for bearing, for competition, actually, for bearing performance. So this is very important. And beside the obvious that it is a very good thing to save a lot of oil, we have seen also a lot of other benefits in SKF. One example is scrap reduction from noise and vibration equipment. We see reduced stop time due to problems in our key performing operations like honing is. And we see a huge improvement in cleanliness level in our parts and in our machineries. But maybe the most important, we are affecting variation in production. And allow me to explain these funny graphs you see in front of you here. You see that to the left is the high variation of contamination level in the honing oil system. So why is this so important? Well, let's think about this factory in the example here. This is a casino factory producing small ball bearings in Italy. In this factory, we have around almost 100 honing machines producing more or less 1 million rings per 24 hours. This will, of course, give a heavy burden, heavy load on sludge and residuals from the honing stones and from the parts into the honing oil. This is going to a central system which is treating the honing oil, treating the dirty honing oil, making it nice and clean again to be ready to be pumped up to the machines. So this is an ongoing circular going round and around, continuously adding dirt to the system, removing it with the filter. Here we have a built-in variation. The amount of dirt coming into the filtration system depends on the load on the factory, how fast and how much we produce, but it also affects of the filtration system itself. Filtration systems which can take care of this amount of sludge needs to be cleaned once in a while. This is a sequential process, automatic. So each time this happens, we risk to release a huge amount of particles in the system. And this will have a huge effect when we are pumping up this oil with a potential spike of dirt content up to the 100 honing machines. You can imagine this have a great impact on this very fine surface parameters that we are so careful to take care of. Actually, what we have done here with the DST technology is to connect this system to the central system, removing this variation, reducing it significantly, like you see in the graph. Actually, I would like to say that we have completely removed, we have eliminated one variable in production, the oil. The oil quality and cleanliness is no longer a variable, it's a constant. And what effect will that have on our performance and machinability and quality in the long run? That is a good thing. On top of that, we have seen that a super clean honing oil in our honing machines will also keep the machines clean and the parts clean. This means that actually the rings coming out of the honing machines are now at the cleanliness level already before washing, fulfilling the specification for particle content on components. This means that potentially we could remove a washing step from the factory. And in the example of casino plant in Italy, that would mean 25 washing machines reduction and one complete central system of washing liquid, which is a solvent, a hydrocarbon solvent. But don't worry, there are still several washing steps to go before the bearing is finished. So there is no risk that you get a bearing from SKF with honing oil in it. The next focus area we have right now in SKF is the quenching. And what is the quenching? Well, quenching is the part of heat treatment process where the heated goods of around 900 degrees will be rapidly cooled down to room temperature. This is a very important process because it's setting the material properties of the bearing steel in terms of microstructure and hardness. Another important parameter of this is the visual appearance of the part. In many cases, some of the surfaces on our products are in finished condition when they come out of the heat treatment. No more machining will happen on that surface. And in some cases, machining will happen. But if we would have a smoother and stain-free, homogeneous colored pattern on the ring or roller, we would be able to possibly remove an operation like sandblasting or vibra finishing. If we look at the examples here on the picture, we see to the left a discarded honing oil, quench oil. This quench oil has done its life due to oxidation and accumulated contamination level and lost properties for cooling. We need to discard it or replace it with new. This oil was put through the DST system, and the result is what you see on the picture to the right. After controlling the cooling properties, cooling and washing properties of the oil, we were able to actually put it back in service again in the same furnace. And this is what we saw. The product to the left is before, meaning with a dirty honing oil, quench oil. And to the right, we see the same goods after the treated oil, as good as new. No staining and then very nice colorization. If we look again to the membranes here, the membranes to the right, we see the residual of dirt from the oil. It contains of very fine soot particles and varnish. The membrane is a 0.45 micron membrane, so we are talking about really small particles here. And if you look at the receipt below with the numbers on, there you see the ISO code. And for those of you who might not be familiar with the ISO code, it means that one number higher means the double amount of particles in the different size classes. So moving from ISO code 22/1914 to ISO code 1410-0. 0 is of course not really true, but it indicates that we are below detection limit for the equipment we use for measuring. But anyhow, this improvement means that we have reduced the number of particles in the oil with more than 99.8% in one pass only. And looking at the picture, I can just imagine and I feel confident that a hot glowing steel part entering in this dirty oil will be affected for visual appearance for sure. All in all, both these applications, quenching and honing, we have proven that we are reducing variation in production. And variation in production, low variation is key, especially when talking about high volume production with high precision parts like a bearing. I'm so much looking forward to the future here and what we will see in the long run, in the long term, with these systems implemented in SKF factories. Thank you very much, and I leave now the word to Pascal to sum up.
Thank you, Petter. As you have seen during the presentation, our DST technology is innovative in the lubricant industry, but also our promise to our customer will be a game changer. I think you all know software as a service, where we purchase on a monthly fee the software service of a certain program at a certain provider. Also during lockdown period, I think many of us have been on Netflix, where we pay per view. It's not that SKF with RecondOil will become a pay-per-view, but we are also having a game changer with the way we want to go to the market. SKF will offer oil regeneration as a service under a fee and performance-based agreement. We foresee that this will benefit customers by cutting oil-related costs and simplifying oil management for users. At the same time, it will lower the environmental impact and increase the performance of the application. We're here not to sell oil, we're here to provide you reliability and to take care of a natural resource by extending the lifetime of it. Next slide, please. If we summarize what RecondOil solution bring with the DST technology, we can summarize it in three important elements. Of course, what is critical is the reduction of cost, what we have seen by reducing the oil purchase, because we can extend the lifetime of the lubricant or process oil over and over again. That also has an impact on reduction of disposal of the oil, combined with a decrease of logistic costs to bring the lubricant to the application. But what is equally or even more critical and important is what Petter has demonstrated us. We clearly have seen a leverage on performance, a performance where process efficiency, process reliability, due to the ultra clean oil that we deliver all the time, that is a clear leverage within our whole technology. This results also in an increased product quality, as we have seen by the presentation by Petter, and also less planned and unplanned stop. And on top of that, and this is something that we should not underestimate, this all also contributes to a better environment. We, with our solution, are capable to reduce the CO2 emissions, and this through extending the lifetime of the lubricant over and over again. If we go to the next slide, please. So as we have seen from Anders and Petter, SKF has implemented and is continued to implement DST solutions across the global factory footprint. DST solutions, as we've seen, it raises machine performance by maintaining lubricant cleanliness. It cuts the cost of the oil purchase and disposal, and as we've seen, reduces CO2 emissions. We are now rolling out our solutions in several industries, treating multiple oils across the globe. Several countries today and regions have adopted new circular economy action plans. The new action plans announces initiatives along the entire life cycle of products, targeting, for example, promoting circular economy processes, fostering sustainable consumption, and aiming to ensure that the resources used are kept in the local economy for as long as possible. The action plan is also applicable for the oil and energy industry, and more specific for lubricants. Already today, in some countries, regulation is in place to promote the reuse of lubricants. Early stage life cycle assessments conducted by SKF estimate that every ton of reused oil can reduce CO2 emissions by up to 3, so a leverage from 1 to 3, which is quite significant. With SKF, RecondOil can help you reducing your carbon footprint while cutting the operational cost and improving performance. This was a presentation around our revolutionary technology. Thank you for your attention.